Hi, this is a quick video on why the world economy is collapsing and why it can't be fixed. So basically what we've done is that we've mined out all our high-grade ores worldwide, and the main driver of the economic dystopia that we're experiencing is the mining industry is in a sense collapsing. It's sucking up the um, finances, government finances, however you want to look at it. This has been known for decades by the people in power and a very entrenched power and U.S. military. They've done lots of analyses on this, and this stuff isn't public because they don't want people to panic. So the only resources that we have are these three books. There's one called Geodestinies too, but these are more smaller and probably easier to read. Um, they're written by Christopher Cluxton. He doesn't do any YouTube videos or presentations because it's a terminal proposition pretty much to do so. But Industrialism is his latest one. Blip is probably his best one out of these three. So Blip and Industrialism are the ones that a person should focus on. Scarcity is the oldest one, and it doesn't have. It's still pretty good. If a person really wants to understand it, all three books are recommended. Anyways, so I'm going to focus on Alberta for this. It's the best example. So Alberta was debt free and then it started getting to debt. What happened? So basically, all the oil was extracted. So that's the light oil in the ground. There's a small percentage, maybe 10%. It's probably a lot less now. It's a game to keep the populace working by running the rigs, and the debt is becoming catastrophic. What's left is the oil sands, and the oil sands don't make a penny. So the oil sands are used to fuel the U.S. military machine. That's why Venezuela was invaded, because they needed the heavy crude to make diesel and jet fuel. And they've kept their military manufacturing, the machining, when everything else is made in China. The U.S. military knows what's going on. That's why they kept their manufacturing base for the military. And so there are two main players in the oil sands, Suncor and Cenovus. They state their debt is $6.3 billion for Suncor and $8.3 billion for Cenovus, but that's a total lie. If a person does research and analysis, the Suncor's total debt is $65 billion and Cenovus is almost $70 billion. So that's more than the Alberta government's or Alberta province's whole debt. So there's a separation movement going on in Alberta right now, and these people don't understand that just these two companies have more debt than the whole Alberta government. So they'd be inheriting that, and Alberta has no functioning economy, none. The oil sands are kept as a means to keep the U.S. military going, and also to keep the populace from basically rebelling and going to civil war and everything collapsing. They won't be able to keep it going for much longer. Anyways, I don't want to get too much into it. This presentation talks about the BC forestry and the BC fisheries, which are in the same boat. And just quickly, the energy return on investment (EROI) is stated to be about 8 to 1. So for every 1 barrel of oil put in, this oil sands it's claimed they put out 8 barrels of oil, which is nonsense because adding up all the energy input from natural gas and use of trucks and all these dozens of things, the EROI really is about 2 to 1. With SAG-D, it's about 1 to 1, maybe 1.5 to 1, and then ethanol is even worse. You actually get less than you put in. But the situation is pretty dire, and if you really want to get into it, read those 3 books and then read this presentation. And without an alien intervention or some kind of a out of this world miracle, we're toast. The trajectory is about 5 years tyranny, martial law 2035, catastrophic global conflict, and then by 2050, I doubt there'll be too many people left. I have some videos on my YouTube channel, but most of the presentations are on my 2 websites. One is the GitHub, and one is my Wix kind of blog-ish thing. So on the GitHub, there's these two presentations or web pages: Chromium Deception and the Depletion Playbook 13 and 14 number. And then on my Wix website, there's a whole bunch of stuff, plus all the presentations too. It's called Content for AI. If AI ever becomes sentient, it might maybe find my website. Who knows? It doesn't really matter. I think the trajectory is actually dire and unfixable. And anyways, that's that.